Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
They have one more win than Chicago, and they literally beat Chicago in Week 17, and yet the Niners are on the road and the Bears are at home. Why? Because of an outdated rule that says, well, winning your division is the holy grail. Rewarding an 8-win division winner with a home playoff game is like giving the corner office to the guy who won the office fantasy pool instead of the guy who actually closed the accounts all year.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's going to open up Pandora's box, but I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope, and I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Time to rise and grind on a Wednesday. Yes, it is a hump day Wednesday right here on the Sports Grid Network. Donnie writes out along with Joe Raniero over the next 2 hours. You know the drill, people. We got you covered on all the latest topics that you need to know, which included a wild day in the NFL. For me, Kevin Patullo moved on from the offensive coordinator. Who next to guide the Philadelphia Eagles in 2026? Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're without a head coach. Mike Tomlin says, you know what? Maybe it's just not my time anymore, and I'd like to go to TV. We have monster games this weekend in divisional round action, and we're still going to get you prepped and ready for that Monday night college football championship between the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers. Let's get the show started. The energy's high, Joe. How we feeling this morning on a Wednesday hump day?
I'm good. I mean, had a ton of college basketball last night.
Yeah.
Donnie, Kansas came through for us as an underdog at home, and we got a lot more of that coming up this week, so I'm ready to go.
Dropped Iowa State here. Again, you got to get your cup of coffee. You got to get ready. You are halfway to the weekend, people, which means nothing more than this morning. We got to get you ready with the hottest topic of the day. Let's get caffeinated, Joe. What is it?
All right, Donnie. So with the college football transfer portal closing this Friday, I thought it would be good if we talk about the absolute insanity of the college football marketplace, because we just found out that former Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson, well, he turned down offers between $4.5 and $6.5 million to transfer to schools next year. Let that sink in. Miami, in fact, reportedly offered him $6.5 million to play there. Ole Miss said they would match it. Tennessee was in the mix, and all of this for a guy to come play quarterback for one season. Now, credit to Ty Simpson here, Donnie, because in a time where players are suing the NCAA to gain a 6th or 7th year of eligibility and income, really, this kid is turning down the easy cash to enter the NFL draft and bet on himself. He doesn't want to wear another college jersey or get another college bag. And that, my friends, is extremely rare. It's very commendable as well. But let's look at what this says about the sport. College football It's officially broken. It is the wild, wild west. We have quarterbacks who haven't won a national title or anything for that matter being offered $6 million to jump ship. We just saw Darian Menza at Duke. He was paid millions of dollars this year, and he barely won a bowl game. And folks, you need to remember this when we start handicapping games next season, because the psychology of the sport has changed. It used to be that a player feared getting benched. They feared losing their spot on the team. They played for teams because, well, that's what they did. Now they don't care. These kids are making life-changing money before they ever take a snap on campus. You think a guy making $4 million cares if the coach yells at him? You think he cares if he's getting benched or is not playing well? No, because he knows if it doesn't work out, he's just going to hop in a portal and maybe get a raise from the next desperate booster. The motivation is gone. It's about getting the bag, and once that check clears, so does the hunger, Donnie. So good for Ty Simpson for chasing the NFL dream instead of the NIL check, betting on himself. But for the rest of the sport, welcome to minor league football. 18-year-olds are making CEO money to play a game. It's a great time to be a player, but it's a terrifying time, Donnie, to be a bettor if you don't adjust your mindset. The game has changed. Make sure you change with it, Donnie.
Absolutely correct. And when you talk about making that money, Joe, you go to a school, mess with like the pros, like Floyd Mayweather. Everybody hates me. Yeah. Well, here's me sitting at my kitchen table with millions of dollars laid out here. College quarterbacks can do that now. Man, you're terrible. I can't even believe we paid you all that money. Go over to IG, start flashing some of that money. Hey, thanks for the $6.5 million, Alabama. Yep. Moving on to TCU for $7.5 million, and away we go. Mercenaries now in college football. Great topic to start our Wednesday off right here on the early line. Let's get to the early lineup, and more shockwaves yesterday in the NFL. The Steelers didn't part way with Mike Tomlin. It feels like Mike Tomlin parted way with the Steelers. 2 years left on his contract still, and I believe he said there's nothing left to chase. So headed into the TV booth, he will be sought after. He will make millions. But Mike Tomlin, after all those years in Pittsburgh, he's going to step down and look for other things to do with his life.
Well, we said it yesterday, Donnie. Wasn't worried about Tomlin being fired. What Pittsburgh needed to be worried about was Tomlin going, I'm out of here, man. Looking at that aging roster and going, what am I doing here? Like, it is time to go here because it's going to get worse before it gets better in Pittsburgh. Tomlin, like a true pro, knows when to get out, Donnie. And yeah, I'd rather get out a year early than a year late, right? And he did it on his terms after 19 years.
Exactly. Basically 20 years, we'll call it, as an NFL coach. You have no life, Joe. You know this. As a head coach in the NFL, that is 365, 24/7. It never turns off. And now it's like, hey, I got a family. I'm still quite young, basically, in the age of who can still be a coach in the NFL. I can go to the booth, make millions of dollars. And if I want to go in, somebody will hire me anytime I want at this point. Mike Tomlin's doing it the right way at this point with the Pittsburgh Steelers as they look for their new head coach. Bryce Young, fifth-year option picked up by the Carolina Panthers. Rightfully so. It's almost a look-see year that you could take. Guaranteed money for the quarterback. He's able to excel. You go this year into the playoffs. What's next for the Panthers? At least we know $26.5 million going right in the pocket of Bryce Young.
Yeah, and it's the right move. I mean, that's why you brought in the coach. It's you've seen improvement from this kid over the last couple of seasons. Is it perfect? No, but he's still a work in progress because he spent the first 2 years being buried with the wrong coaching staff. So, yeah, I think it's the right move by Carolina.
Harbaugh out for the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson certainly seems like he's in, but owner Steve Bisciotti's like, hey, we love Lamar, but we got to make this work. Dollars make sense. We want a new contract commitment that, yes, we'll pay him a ton of money, but give us flexibility on the salary cap. If that doesn't work out, we'll find the money, but this could be sooner than later, and rightfully so. Before free agency, you want to have a set picture who your head coach is going to be, general manager, front office on the same page, and also the quarterback's money is right.
Well, and if you want a quality head coach, you better have your quarterback in place, right? You can't be searching for a quarterback, Donnie, and hope that you nail the right coach. You get the right quarterback, the right coach will show up.
Anthony Davis, did you get this story here? It doesn't look like he's going to need surgery on his injured, like hand, wrist, whatever it is. But at the same time, he now looks more attractive to other teams if he does get the surgery and can't play. What league am I talking about here, Joe? This is nonsense.
It's just absolutely shocking here. And they're still shopping him, too, which is so funny. Okay, good luck. Let's see what kind of takers you're going to get for Anthony Davis, who likely won't see the court again for a year.
He's a commodity because he might be able to come back in the playoffs and make it make sense. The NBA makes absolutely no sense. I'll tell you what makes sense if you want to make a lot of money. Be a baseball player who's really good. Kyle Tucker being offered as much as $50 million per year. How about that, Joe?
Feels like you almost have to take the bag, doesn't it, Donnie? Like, if I'm like, just give me the 15 mil for a year, I'm good. Then I can do it again here in another year. And it's not a bad, it's an interesting angle to go. That's for sure.
Really is. How about this angle? Bryce Harper re-ups with Under Armour after opting out of Under Armour. Now he's back in at Under Armour. At least, look, Under Armour's been struggling as of late. Got to hold some athletes. Looks like they're going to hold on to Bryce Harper a little bit longer.
Yeah, just a hair longer, Donnie. And again, what are you going to do? Of course, you're going to hold on to him a little bit longer here because if he can stay healthy for a year, Donnie, for a full season, they'll get their money's worth. I promise you there in Philly.
Getting my money's worth out of the Kansas City Royals. This was a glorious day yesterday. If you didn't hear, the Royals are bringing in the fences and lowering them. Last year, we had two sensational environments, Joe. The Trop is the worst baseball hitting park ever in history. They don't play there anymore. They played at Steinbrenner. It was wonderful. The Athletics were in Sacramento, a wonderful hitter's paradise here. And now Kansas City moving the fences in. Boom! Love it. RBIs, home runs. Love to see this, Joe, from the Royals. Thank you, Royals.
Yeah, except that, it's easier said than done, Donnie. We saw Toronto do this a couple of years ago at Rogers Center, and they actually hit for less power than more power. So it may take a little while.
Now, if we could just get Rob Manfred to tell us where those dead baseballs are delivered and when, we will all make a fortune in baseball season. We'll be right back.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not going to happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
It's Wednesday, Hump Day, right here on the Sports Grid Network. This is the early line. It's Joe and Donnie. Time to get for some spread lines to get you ready for some weekend action that you need to know. And, of course, it's divisional round action in the NFL. Game number one we'll talk about is game number one on Sunday. But not a 1 o'clock start, guys. That is a 3 o'clock start on Sunday. It's the Houston Texans, fresh off a victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots, who were beating up on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Patriots are the home team in this game. Look-ahead lines are around 2.5. Now, we see threes across the board at most outlets and a total of 41.5. Some interesting circumstances on guys with concussions, Joe, but we are waiting for Sunday for this one. Give us an early spread line of what you're looking at, Texans-Patriots.
Well, it's, we're getting to be that point of the week with these, Donnies, where the limits will start to rise. And if we're going to see some movement, it's going to be over the next 24 to 48 hours across the board. But we did see some in this game yesterday. In fact, a lot of 3.5s popping up across the board here, Donnie, for the Patriots. So they're getting just a hair more tickets, but they are getting more money than what Houston is right now. We'll see if that trend continues as the limits open up. But right now, there seems to be a clear push in the market to back the Patriots. And if you like Houston, you can get the hook. It's available in spots. If you like the Patriots, I think it's just going to bounce like this back and forth, Donnie. So if you couldn't get the Patriots yet at 3, wait. You'll be able to get them, I think, before kick.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one, too, because as we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers struggle with Houston there, they don't have a quarterback. Talking about the Steelers who can run from anything. Drake May's pretty athletic and pretty good in the pocket there to maneuver around. We'll see if that makes a difference. But fun game on Sunday. That one starts it off. How about the first game on Saturday, Joe? Late afternoon, East Coast time, 4:30 p.m. The Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. The look-ahead line was 1.5 as a favorite towards the Buffalo Bills. Some outlets still have the Bills favorite here. Other outlets right now do have the Denver Broncos as favorites from 1 to 1.5 and a total of 46.5. The rested and ready Denver Broncos, the number 1 seed in the AFC, taking on the Buffalo Bills. What's that early week spread line for you, Joe?
Well, another one of these situations, it's funny, Texans and Patriots never saw each other during the year. In fact, the Patriots only saw 3 playoff teams this season, and 2 of them were against Buffalo. But same thing here with Buffalo and Denver. This is some uncharted territory between these 2 teams. We don't have a lot that we can look back on this past season and point to. But that hasn't stopped the market from maybe adjusting in a number of spots, Donnie, like you pointed out, where we're starting to see pick'ems or even Denver now the slight favorite at home in this one. But the biggest move so far in this game has been to the under. 46.5, 47 as an open, Donnie, and we're starting to see 45.5s now in the marketplace. So there seems to be a little more of a concentration on maybe less points in this game, even though the weather report so far, Donnie, looks to be okay in this one.
Yeah, we got weather reports here on that late game on Sunday night here, 17, 15 degrees in that range. Winds starting to pick up, Joe, in Chicago. 8-mile-an-hour winds, up to now 12-mile-an-hour winds sustained. And also, as you just talked about the game between Buffalo and Denver, this total in the Rams and also the Bears is dropping as well, Joe. That look-ahead line, 50.5. We got 48.5s across the board at most places here. But the 3.5 is a road favorite for the Rams is sticking there across the board right now. Should be a fun game to watch here. Caleb Williams at home, Rams on the road. What's your spread line for this late Sunday game, Joe?
Yeah, we did see 4 pop up yesterday, Donnie, in a couple of spots, and now we're seeing it juice, 3.5 juice, minus 120s now in a number of places. So they certainly are shading it towards the Rams, but you're right. The biggest move here towards the under now. I mean, if we're looking at an opening of 51 and now all of a sudden 48.5s seem to be in a number of different spots. Based upon that weather, it looks like fewer points, not more points, which is a little different. Listen, we got that a lot so far in these playoffs, Donnie, through 3 quarters. And then we got to the 4th quarter and all hell broke loose. So it might be time to start splitting some of these games in half and go, yeah, I'll take the under early. But teams seem to be adjusting late in these games.
Absolutely. Monday Night Football, not the NFL. It's college football. It's their national championship game scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Miami going to take on Indiana. The game will be played at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Those opening lines show around a touchdown. They're evaporating. We're 8.5s across the board. Looks like a stronghold for the Hoosiers. The total, which opened up look-ahead line around 48.5, Joe. Now we're sitting at 47.5. And the ticket count, they can't get enough Indiana backers right now. And everybody I listen to, Indiana by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and also talk about Indiana, the best team they've ever seen in college football. Can Miami slow roll them there, Joe? What's that spread line for Monday Night Football, Miami and Indiana?
Well, listen, we're going to keep you posted on this because this game is on Monday, so we still have
Correct.
some time, and we have certainly over the weekend, but it's going to be, a standalone game. It's going to get tremendous handle, but right now it's holding strong. It's all Indiana money. We told you last week, couldn't find anybody that wanted to bet the 49ers against the Eagles. Can't find anybody wanting to bet Miami here over Indiana. They have truly become the public darling here. Nines even in some spots in the market here, Donnie. Also, the total, which was originally 48 and a half, we're starting to see 47s, 47 and a half. So a little tick downward on the total, but it has been all Indiana money to this point. Doesn't change what we've been telling you. If you like Miami, wait. There's no reason this line might continue to grow before tip. So before kickoff on Monday.
No chance for the Hurricanes, what we're hearing here from the marketplace. We'll see what happens Monday night. Yeah. NBA action tonight. The Cavaliers in town to face the Philadelphia 76ers. The city of brotherly love takes center stage. And looks like the line across the board, Joe, 1.5 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Some outlets show 1.5 for the Philadelphia 76ers in a total of 237.5. Sixers at home against the Cavs. What's that spread line tonight for you?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, too, because overnight, Donnie, we had the Sixers 3.5-point favorites, and now we're waking up this morning, and we got ones here. So we got a big push towards the Cleveland Cavaliers in this one, who are trying to come in and kind of right the ship here a little bit. Back-to-back road games against Philly. This is going to be an interesting game here tonight, but the market believes it's a coin flip.
7 games tonight in the association, but you know where we're going next. The city of Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin out as head coach. What's next? We'll be right back.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not going to happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
End of an era in Pittsburgh, and boy, he lasted close to 20 years and a lot of success and a lot of winning seasons. Mike Tomlin met with ownership, and ownership did not show him the door. He showed, apparently, ownership the door and said, you know what? There's nothing left to chase at this point right now. I think it's the best time to get out of coaching after close to 20 years. Mike Tomlin out as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach from an organization that's not used to going through very many coaching searches. You saw the statement put out by Art Rooney II yesterday. Basically everything Tomlin did for that organization. I don't think they wanted to get rid of him, but sometimes it's better just to have a breakup here to see what's into the future, which the Steelers will look for a new head coach, and also the future plans for Mike Tomlin. But after close to 20 seasons and all that success, Joe, he's out as Pittsburgh's head coach.
Yeah, and again, this is not something that was a direct response to losing to Houston. And let's get that out of the way here, Donnie. This was probably in the back of Tomlin's mind for a while now. And listen, he's not a fool. He spent 19 years with an organization. And if it's tough now, what's it going to be when you got to bring back a 43-year-old quarterback, an aging roster? It's just not going to get, if they're calling for his head now and he's never had a losing season and all he does is get to the playoffs, then it's going to get only worse. So I thought this was a possibility, and I said, Steelers don't fire coach. They certainly aren't firing a guy that has been there 19 years. Tomlin beat him to the punch, basically, and even though he signed an extension through 2027 last offseason or 2024, he can't do anything right now unless, of course, there's some sort of compensation for it. But boy, oh boy, come 2027, guess who the hottest coach available is going to be?
And let me ask you this question, too, because when you're with an organization that long, you know it's not tumultuous. And I do think they won't hold Mike Tomlin hostage. And the reason I say that is he does have 2 years left. Let's just say he goes to the booth for 1 year, which covers one of those contract years. And then the next year he goes, you know what? There's a great spot open. It's the New York Jets. I want to coach the New York Jets. I don't think Pittsburgh, they'll reach out for compensation, but they could very easily go, no, we want like 2 first-rounders. You're going to sit out. I think they split amicably where it's like, you know what, Mike? You did such good for our organization. We'll get a 3rd-round pick back from the Jets for you to go there. Enjoy it, man. You're going to get inducted into the Wall of Fame. Sure. When you come back, you're always going to be a Steelers legend. I do find that interesting. But also, the Ravens owner, Steve Bisciotti, reacts here to Mike Tomlin leaving.
At Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know, that thing last week maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to him. I love Mike. I mean, I've admired Mike for 18 years, and that's really shocking that he did it that way. But yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That's pretty funny. Two things I get from that too is like, ooh, you know what? He actually thought about that in real time. Like, I think we might reach out to Mike Tomlin. And then's like, our kicker missed a kick, man. Tough for Mr. Loop there down in Baltimore, Joe. He's catching shrapnel even from the owner. That's a rough one.
Yeah, well, I think it's you could tell the feud and the rivalry between Pittsburgh and Baltimore there. But great answer, though. Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job and we get Tomlin, we're good to go. So, and listen, they have him under contract, so they would be due compensation of some sort if he wants to go back to coaching. But I think if a team at this point with as many openings as there are, teams would be willing to pay whatever to get Tomlin in the building. Who are we kids? So I don't think that's ever going to be. The only question I think is going to be whether Tomlin wants to take a couple of years off or does he want to jump back in?
By the way, in Bizarro world, wouldn't that be fantastic if like Tomlin did go to the Ravens and Harbaugh went to the Steelers? Like that would just be absolute
or the Browns.
Cinema, as they like to say here. By the way, let's get a quick Mike Tomlin quote here, one of his best that he had.
What does it say that Russ kept the ball and pushed his way in for that 1-yard rushing touchdown? And what did you learn about maybe his resilience and his strength in that moment?
It was just a sneak.
Well, by the way, he is Captain Cliche, but his post-game press conferences are phenomenal here with what he goes through, man. It would have been, playing for Mike Tomlin probably was a wild time and a good time at that.
Absolutely. Yeah, listen, and you got to appreciate a guy that knows when to say when. And he's only 53.
Ooh, when to say when. There's a certain quarterback in limbo right now, and I want to make sure Joe Ranieri gets to answer that question next.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not going to happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
If you watch this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, look, they won the division. They got to the playoffs. Another year over 500 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they had Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, who was saying, you know what, I'm old right now. I'm just looking for a spot to go. I think Pittsburgh's the right spot. Made his decision late in the offseason last year, and everything you heard out of Pittsburgh camp, Mike Tomlin loved Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers loved Mike Tomlin. You saw how the season ended in certainly pure disappointment, losing to the Houston Texans in embarrassing fashion. But in the post-game press conference, also you heard Aaron Rodgers like, what are you kidding me? Mike Tomlin on the hot seat? Absolutely not. The guy's phenomenal. Don't listen to any of the noise. We love him inside the building. And quite frankly, this is one of the more enjoyable years I've had to play in the NFL. And if Mike Tomlin comes back, he's going to want Aaron Rodgers back. But Mike Tomlin didn't get fired. Mike Tomlin decided to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers, which leaves Aaron Rodgers in limbo. Joe, we talk about the predictive markets all the time. Just a few short weeks ago, we were talking, I said, you got to be kidding me. Like, Tomlin's not going to go anywhere. Rodgers loves Tomlin. Tomlin loves Rodgers. They're going to run this thing back. Joe, I'm not so sure now if Rodgers is running anything back. What do you think the future is for Aaron Rodgers?
Again, I think it'll be in the NFL, Donnie, there will be opportunities for Aaron Rodgers even at 43. The question is whether or not Aaron Rodgers wants to play for another organization. This worked because it was a group of very, veterans, right? And that's why it worked for him. I don't know that it works if he's got a bunch of unproven guys around him, younger guy. I don't know that anything outside of Pittsburgh is something that Aaron Rodgers wants to get involved with.
Yeah, I don't think he does. Like, I'm telling you, I thought this was going to be one of those, let me just give it one more go. Tom, like, everything's comfortable. I don't have to learn a new playbook. It should work out. We have a good defense come back and run it back one more year, which, again, we talked, Joe. We think it's the perfect time now. Tomlin gone. Aaron Rodgers gets out of Pittsburgh. You find your quarterback. Maybe you tear down the defense a little bit. Now, I'm not saying a rebuilding year. It's not what the Steelers do. They'll try to win football games, but you're looking for the future and what's going to be next at this point. And I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is in that future, and he'll take some time. But you're right. Aaron Rodgers feels like the quarterback next year that might not find a home before the season, but stays in shape. Good football team late October, loses their starting quarterback, Joe. Sound like something that Aaron Rodgers will do? Or is it just like, you know what? I had enough. Don't call me. I'm going off the grid, and I'm going to start a family.
Yeah, it very well could be here. I mean, a lot can happen between now and the start of next season. But whoever the coach is here at Pittsburgh, what other choice do you have? I'm sure they're going to make a play or an offer to Aaron, but it's really up to him whether or not he wants to run it back with a new and likely unproven head coach.
Yeah, then we'll see what happens. Long off season here. We'll see how quickly that decision is made by Aaron Rodgers. Or does he play it out a little bit longer to see who that Pittsburgh coach is, if he wants to stay there, or if he just wants to retire or go elsewhere. Let's get to the Sunday, Saturday NFL slate here this weekend, divisional round matchups. We talked about it early in Spreadlines. Let's take a look at a little bit of a deeper dive here. 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. That's the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. You watch the Buffalo Bills go on the road with a comeback victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the more talented and hot teams in the NFL. The Denver Broncos clinched the #1 overall seed in the AFC, which they deserved, and earned a home game, which they're getting against the Buffalo Bills. We see in the marketplace, 1.5's on one side, 1.5's on the other, in a total listed at 46.5. I got to tell you, again, looking at the line itself, we see the graphic 1.5 for the Broncos. As we said, there's still 1's and 1.5's out there for the Buffalo Bills. But for me, I do think Denver should be the favorite in this game. There is something to have a bye week when the other team was on the road, getting beat up, battered, and having high leverage situations all the way through that game. I like the Denver Broncos as it sits here on a Wednesday, Joe. What are your feelings here for the winner of this game, Buffalo and Denver?
Well, you would think that, Donnie, but history tells us not exactly a great spot for divisional round teams, home teams, coming off of that bye. We're talking about 33, 44, and 1 against the number, 43%. And since 2020, they're just 3-7 against the number. So that applies to Denver and Seattle, obviously, this year. And of course, Seattle's laying a big number. But it'll be interesting to see. I think there will be a back and forth here, likely a pick 'em, but even at a pick 'em, Donnie, or a -1, you're really basically taking away any home field advantage that Denver might have, right? And it's supposed to be one of the tougher places to play in the NFL. And yet, on a neutral field, you're saying Buffalo is a much better team than Denver right now.
Let's go quarterback situation in this show. We just talked about this game as roughly a coin toss. Did you know Bo Nix and Josh Allen right now, their passing prop number, 210.5 and 210.5. If I gave you one quarterback, Joe, in this game to go over his passing yards, which quarterback is that for you?
Yeah, I would definitely think it's going to be Bo Nix here. Because I think Buffalo, again, establishing the run. I think they'll have a little more success against Denver, as crazy as that may sound, than they did against Jacksonville. Listen, everyone knew Jacksonville was the #1 team against the rush, Josh Allen was going to have to beat him with the arm. I think they can beat Denver defensively with the legs, and I think Bo Nix thinks they're going to be able to push the ball down the field with Sean Payton. And he's going to have to take some shots because you're going to have to score against Buffalo if you're going to finally, end their run. You're going to have to beat them, and you're going to have to go toe-to-toe, score for score with them. So I think Nix is probably going to have more passing yards.
Quick touchdown prop look this weekend for this game. R.J. Harvey's the favorite, -135. James Cook, Josh Allen, and Cortland Sutton starts the plus money at 2-1 as a price here. Any quick looks here on touchdown market props here, Joe, for the Bills and the Broncos?
Yeah, I think Sutton is going to be a guy that you have to keep an eye on because he's going to be the go-to guy, right? He is going to be that guy that is absolutely going to have to stretch the field, and they're going to have to take some shots against that defense. But Buffalo's defense has been better than people think, especially since that, over the last couple of games of the season, not to mention in the postseason. So it might be a little tougher than people realize here for Denver to get points on this board.
San Francisco and Seattle. Just saw this game a few weeks back. San Francisco couldn't move the football. A double-digit win for Seattle. But now we see them in the divisional round. A bye week for Seattle. The 12s were rested and ready in the stands. San Francisco played in Philadelphia to fly back to San Francisco. And then a short work week to fly up to Seattle to play this game. 7s to 7.5s listed across the board as a favorite for Seattle, and a total of 44.5. San Francisco, boy, they got some fight in them. But sometimes it's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. They just don't have much going into Seattle. This will be a shocking victory. Let me tell you something right now. San Francisco just wins this game to get the NFC Championship game. I know it's a regular season award. Just give Kyle Shanahan the Coach of the Year on the spot, Joe.
Yeah, but it's so unique about this is unlike the Denver-Buffalo game, they're getting 7.5 points. They don't need to win in order for them to be able to cover this game. And again, we gave you the divisional numbers here with teams coming off a bye, home teams, 17, 26, and 1, 40% if they're a touchdown or more favorite coming off of that bye. So this has not been a profitable spot to back the home teams no matter what here.
No, it's they're rested, and they did play, and they're a divisional opponent. So this is going to be the third time they play this year. They know all the ins and outs. It's going to be up to Shanahan, like you saw him scheming a touchdown pass from a wide receiver to Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey's going. He's going to be in an ice bath right after this game, win or lose. He needs 35 touches because no George Kittle. You're very limited to the wide receiver against a really top-tier defense in their own building with that loud crowd. Should be a fun one to watch you play out. Touchdown scores in this one. I think it's cheap. Christian McCaffrey's minus 120. Jackson Smith-Njigba minus 105. At least one, if not both of those guys, is going to score a touchdown this weekend for me, Joe. How about a quick look at some of those touchdown props this week for you?
I agree. I think he's a guy that you got to look at. I do think, they're going to get the running game. They're going to want to do what they did last time, right? They're not going to ask Sam Darnold to throw the ball 40 times, Donnie. That's just not going to happen. So the running backs, I think, are going to be a big part of what they're going to be doing in that game against the 49ers.
Just looking for a double up at the running back position. Zach Charbonnet plus 100. Kenneth Walker III plus 130. One of those guys get in. At least you have a profitable day if it is Walker. If both get in, you're singing the praises of the ground game for the Seattle Seahawks here. Boy, oh boy, NFL action this weekend. 4 top games. Let's flip it over to the NBA. What happened last night? And also, somebody's really going to trade for Anthony Davis? Come on now. We'll be right back.
Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jaylen Brown to do his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Right back out of here talking about games in the association, but more importantly, what actually happens in the trade market and the deadline, which comes up in early February. The guy that keeps coming up right now is Anthony Davis. And I want to start here, Joe. Hoop Central sent a tweet out yesterday that said Anthony Davis's injury history since joining the Mavericks. So the graphic, as you see, has a list of injuries on the right-hand screen. So without quickly going over that, that's probably all his injuries in his career as long as he's been in the NBA. That's just basically in 6 to 8 months, it looks like. He's injured every body part, every time. You can never count on the guy. Sometimes, look, your body just breaks down. Usually when you get injured, you stay injured. And Anthony Davis has always stayed injured.
It's hysterical. I mean, and I know they fired Nico Harrison, but my goodness, I mean, this Luka trade is looking even worse and worse. Every time Anthony Davis makes a headline, it reminds Mavs fans, my goodness, this is what we got in return here. And, the guy I feel the worst for right now is Cooper Flagg, because when healthy and on the court, Donnie, they actually showed some promise. If they could get Kyrie back, maybe, just maybe, they can win a few games and be competitive. But no, you can't trust him to be healthy in any way, shape, or form. And who's going to take a flyer on that? Honestly, who's going to want Anthony Davis? We'll take Anthony Davis, and then what? Our doctors are better than your doctors? I don't get what the market is on him. I really don't.
It's crazy. The NBA market is always astonishing to me. Remember Andrew Bynum, the young center for the Lakers, supposed to take over for Shaq? Well, the Sixers traded a lot for Bynum. He can't play on that knee. Doesn't matter. He's a big body. Look how athletic he is if he ever gets back into shape. It never happened. So Playoff Media with a tweet yesterday. CBS Sports reports that renewed trade discussions involving Anthony Davis have emerged despite his hand injury, with analysis suggesting the Charlotte Hornets as a potential long-term fit if Dallas is willing to move him at a reduced price. You get caught up on when he's fully healthy. Oh my goodness, he's a game changer. But then you have to say, well, I'm going to give up media, I'm going to give up capital, and also I'm going to give up a lot of money to get this guy who probably won't play. Boy, that's a vicious cycle out here, isn't it?
I mean, the guy has only played out of a possible 115 games since being traded. He's only played in 29 of them, Donnie. Yeah. I mean, who in their right mind is going to be like, you know what? But the 29 that he did play in was really impressive. Come on. He's never played. I mean, he's only played on average, Donnie, over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe half the games in a season, if you're lucky, for the Lakers. So, this is just an ongoing league. Fool me once, right? Your fault. Fool me twice. My fault, Donnie. How many more teams are going to take a flyer with Anthony Davis staying healthy at 32 years old?
And the craziest part about that, too, is when the trade went down, everybody in Dallas was upset. And Dallas okay, hold on. We got really good players back. Anthony Davis will be healthy. Wait to see him with Kyrie eventually in the future. Him and Kyrie only played 25 minutes together on the Mavericks here. So you didn't even get to enjoy, hey, we lost Luka, but at least we got a good core of a team back. Everybody just got injured at the same time for the Dallas Mavericks, just the way it is here. By the way, Joe, NBA All-Star Weekend is coming up as well. You catching out the honorary coaches here? Are you excited for the Rising Stars game presented to you by Castrol? Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, legends. Then there's Austin Rivers. How'd he get in there? Doc placed him in there? What happened?
I have no idea how he got in there. Could they find nobody else? Or what is that? But yes, I do like the future stuff. The Rising Stars is maybe the best part of the weekend. But I'm sorry, this is the NBA just does not do All-Star Week the right way. They can't figure it out. I hope they follow through with that plan to make it, country oriented, USA versus the world, kind of like the NHL did. Then maybe it's worth looking at and watching. But as currently constructed, Donnie, I can't even tell you what the new rules are this year because they've changed every year.
By the way, Tommy and the producers in the back trying to Ron Burgundy here with a statement that says Spurs down OKC, only to see the Thunder 119-98 over the Spurs. How about that? You're not going to get me tripped up here. Thunder hammer the Spurs. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
That's
they crushed
me
them.
up.
in fact. Yeah, they crushed them there. But, I mean, listen, the Spurs weren't going to sweep OKC all year, especially at home. Yeah. But, you know, it was a good effort by OKC to right the ship. And, you know, they were at home, and you had that. It's pretty good home court advantage for OKC. And the Spurs, it's been a rough road trip here. And it's been a lot of games in a very short period of time. So kudos to the Thunder, but they're going to see each other in the postseason anyway. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier about the Cavs and the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm just going to get to this next game here. The Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks. A 9:30 tee up tonight, Joe. I'm seeing roughly 25% of the tickets early on the Mavericks. That line flipping from 1s to 1.5 either side, Joe. We might have a public destruction here. But the Nuggets, though, the Nuggets let me down yesterday. Supposed to lose that game in the final minute. They did. Now they're back on the road against the Mavericks. Who gives here? Is anyone even playing in this game is what this suggests to me.
Well, it's second of a back-to-back, Donnie, right? So Aaron Gordon likely isn't playing. Jamal Murray came back last night, but he's probably not going. I mean, this is mix and match. The Nuggets are just trying to weather the storm, and they're doing actually a pretty good job. I think they're 5-3 now without the Joker since he's gone down. But everyone else is hurt, too. And the scheduling here, and the only reason Dallas is even remotely close to being a favorite is because the Nuggets are going to be without probably about 80% of their offensive production on the court for this game.
How about Arizona State here, Joe? Little college basketball action tonight. 10:30, you better be up late. It used to be the Pac-12 after dark this game would be. 22.5-point favorite for the Cats at home against their state rival with a total of 168.5 live right now, Joe. Blowout on the horizon, is it?
Yeah, well, the market is telling you everything you need to know about what this game is going to be about, and it's not going to be close. But Arizona State, listen, they just got destroyed in another game here last time out. They are going to try, and they're going to give them their best shot, but it's not going to be good enough. Wildcats are going to run away. They're the number one team in the country for a reason.
Arizona, adjusted efficiency on defense. Number 3 in the country. Well, their offense probably isn't that good. Number 4 in the country. Good luck, Arizona State, in this game. More NFL news and notes, which means Kevin Patullo, he got fired yesterday.
Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jaylen Brunson doing his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
News and notes around the NFL, and just because some teams are still left playing in the playoffs, other teams have already moved into their off season and also planning for 2026. We'll start in Minnesota, where Kevin O'Connell says, I think there should be competition at quarterback, which is right. They drafted a kid in the first round that missed his first season because he got an injury in camp / playing in the preseason, sat out the entire season. So this year really was his rookie season on the field. We saw some flashes from J.J. McCarthy, but certainly not good enough here. Kevin O'Connell thinks there should be quarterback competition. And also, here's the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, Joe, talking about some of that quarterback competition.
Do you want JJ to be the starter in 2026?
I don't know that's, I want the Vikings to achieve our goals. And I think one of those goals is to make playoff runs and do different things like that. I think he's the character and ability to be the person to do that for our organization. If I say that in 2026, that kind of binds us into a certain, area. The way we've set this team up, we built this core to really, like we've always talked about, give ourselves multiple shots at it, because you never know when there's going to be a year where the field's a little bit wide open and you can make that run. And so that's what we're really focused on. Talking about whether it's this year or next year isn't really, my immediate reflection. It's my job to really bring that deep competitive room that we've talked about to the Vikings.
Uh-oh, Joe. That doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement for J.J. McCarthy now.
That has to be the most non-committal answer to a simple question I think I have ever heard. That he just danced around giving a legit answer at all there about what McCarthy is. I'm wondering how he feels about Jordan Addison, though, being arrested in Florida on trespassing charges, though. I'm wondering if maybe they have an open competition there as well. But, yeah, I mean, look at that. Like, you got to be kidding me, man. Just some guys just don't get it. But listen, they got a quarterback problem. You know who doesn't? Seattle. And you think maybe, just maybe, there's a little regret in that building right now.
I'd say, arrested in off, your season just ended. And when I see, trespassing, that means you broke into, a girlfriend's house. How do you get arrested for trespassing in this day and age? Come on.
It's stupidity. Just stupidity. And it's not like they didn't have to wait for, he missed a couple of games to start the year, right? Because he couldn't stay out of trouble. And now here we go back to the same thing again. I mean, he's 23, just finished his third NFL season. He was suspended 3 games this year for the substance abuse policy. I mean, come on, man. He also, I think, was punished in London, too, if I'm not mistaken, for a coach's decision. He missed the first quarter or something along those lines. I mean, grow up, man. Grow up.
Absolutely. How about this? Growing up here, you weren't supposed to curse around your family or your parents at this point. As the older you got, the more the curses started to fly. How about the Chicago Bears? They have strict no cursing policy for their players for the last couple decades. I don't even know how that's even possible. Football players are sailors when they talk most of the time. That's just football lingo here. Your coaches use profanity at you. You use profanity back. You use profanity to your teammates, and you use profanity to the fans in the stands as well. But now since Ben Johnson has got there, profanity is back, and the Chicago Bears are winning. That's a correlation I like to see, Joe.
Well, I mean, my goodness, really? Who did you even know that existed? That's no, me neither. I would never in a million years think that ever existed. But kudos. If you're going to make any changes, that's the one you want to make, Ben Johnson. Way to go here.
The fall guy in Philadelphia is not going to be the head coach, Nick Sirianni. It's not going to be the general manager, Howie Roseman. It's not going to be the quarterback in Jalen Hurts. It's Kevin Petula, the offensive coordinator, who, by the way, remedial offense all throughout the year. It is sometimes about players making plays, and the Eagles didn't make enough of those plays. But every single game I watched, it was frustrating. As a fan, you want to sit down and enjoy your team, cheer it on, root it on, win or lose. But the Eagles were so frustrating, you had to get rid of Kevin Petula. The question is, though, who is coming in as the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles? Again, that pattern, Joe. Have a good coordinator. He leaves. Have a bad coordinator. You get a good coordinator. He leaves. You get a bad coordinator. Now it's time, I guess, for the Eagles to get a good offensive coordinator. Who's going to be that guy in Philadelphia? But my goodness, I loved that news that came down yesterday.
Well, you knew it was coming, but again, it felt like the wrong hire. When it was announced last year after the run, Donnie, and this feels like the right decision, but they better get it right here. They spent a lot of money on that offensive side of the ball last year. They better get the higher right this time.
Jeff Stoutland's known as one of the best, offensive line coaches in the NFL. I don't know if Stoutland University this year was asleep at the wheel and not teaching anybody anything, but it starts, Joe, as you know, with the offensive line and then goes forward. The Eagles used to dominate on the offensive line. Didn't do that this year. What changes need to be made? The OC is being changed. Hour number 2 coming up next. We'll be right back.